Like other mine design packages in the market, Surpac has a functionality to facilitate pit and waste and stockpile designs. In this video, I'm not going to describe all of the options and settings and parameters you can adjust in this menu. I mean the multi-bench design. You may find it in the related surface mine design toolbar, or even from the menus design, expand segment, and multi-bench design. I'm not going to describe all of the settings here because it's very comprehensive and takes long time to discuss all of them. But in this video, I'm going to show you the common problems users may encounter when using this function. For those who start to use this menu for the first times, it looks not much handy and automatic as the AutoPit design modules in other packages may have. Uh, Personally, I prefer the uh, related module in this week, AutoPit design, because of the various scenarios and also a unique functionality to adjust the pit exit for the ramping system. But Surpac in this menu, inconsistent with the Surpac attitude in rest of its functionality, it relies on the user's awareness and competency rather than automatic ready tools. Let me first tell you about some limitations of this menu. This menu, in all of the four different methods to be used, cannot take into consideration the emplacement of a switchback. And wherever you want to empt a switchback in your walls and ramping system, you must stop this command, make your switchback by using the expand by burn width functionality, and continue using this multi-bench design menu. The other limitation is that variation in ramp definition is not possible again in this menu, and wherever you want to change the width, the slope position, and tapering in your ramp, you must stop this function up to that bench you want to change the ramp definition, change your ramp definition, and again run this menu from the segment that has been modified by the ramp definition. And the third limitation of this menu, again, like the simple functions of Surpac here for expand segment by bench height and expand segment by burn width, it doesn't offers you point modification that is needed when you are expanding outward or expanding inward a segment. When expanding a segment inward, we anticipate the software to remove or move some of the points to prevent logical conflicts that come to like crossovers or spikes. And when we are expanding outward, we need to let us decide if we want to do smoothing by adding points and the corners. But you know that Surpac has enough menus for smoothing, inserting point, normalizing, and cleaning. For the problems I said that this multi-bench menu cannot handle it by itself. Well, let's let's see what happens if we set some of the parameters, and let me choose The third option, that is auto expand to elevation, and by a simple configuration I want to expand downward, I mean contracting the lower string of this simple bit design. Already I have created my design upward from the white string by several benches, as you see. But now for any reason I want to continue my designing process downward from the same segments. Let's see what happens. By applying this menu, it tries to project segments like you are step by step using these two menus. In the result, you clearly see that we have two problems. One of them, let me call it a minor problem here in the lower new bench, that the points are not practical to be constructed, and the other is the major problem. Let me rotate it and take a closer look here. You see that although we choose this segment to start contracting downward and creating new benches at the pit floor, but other strings that are irrelevant to this starting segment has also been projected. What's the problem? As you remember, the segment, which is temporary marker clearly shows us, was the segment number 1 in string number 1. The first tip is that you should choose a segment as your starting segment, the source segment for this functionality, which is unique in its string number. Let's check if there are any segments in string number 1. By changing to this selection tool, we can easily verify, and we see that there are no other segments in string number 1. So what's the problem? That was the first tip that we have taken into consideration, and the problem is not in this matter. The matter is that segment number 1 and string number 1 starts to project downward, and it has been reached to a string number. As I said previously, Surpac automatically adds the string number of a segment each time it's being projected, so that uh, string number 1 projects to 2, 2 to 3, and 3 to number 4, like that. This command has been projecting this segment up to a new string number that has been previously available in my rest of the design. When we see here where excessive and unwanted strings has been projected, we will see that the first wrongly created segment is this one, that is the string number 11, and you will notice here that the segment number is 2, where has been the segment number 1 in string number 11 here, the one upside the segment number 10, segment number 1 in string number 10. So you got the point. The menu has continued projecting by incrementally increasing the string number of segment number 1 in string number 1, and has reached to segment 1 in string number 10, because there had been another segment in the same string number, I mean string number 10, so it also has projected the string number 10 including segment number 1, and we don't want it to do that, and it has caused to create multiple unwanted and wrong segments and strings in other parts of the design. Well, how to tackle this bug? We should change the string number of our starting segment to a string number that is surely not available in any part of our design, and also when it's being projected for the predicted benches numbers or height, it will not come to a number that again exists previously in our design. Based on my general view and idea about what I have been designed previously in this layer, I suggest to change this string segment number to string number 13. The string number 30 is again the same color as string number 1, and this should resolve the major problem. Let's try again. Alright, the big issue has been resolved. The second problem was here in the lower bench, that we have excessive point here. We can modify it, but let me first of all resolve another issue. Here in the source segment, when I started to use this multi-bench menu, I see that there is something missing. You may notice that a string is missing, a string that defines our bearing width in this level. The level is 6065, and there is no berm here. Another limitation of this menu, multi-bench design menu, is that it will not ask you whether the source segment, the starting segment, is a crest or a toe string. So it is you to decide whether it's needed to expand your segment inward or outward, depending if you are going down or up, to create a bearing width or not. You should judge about it. And this function always starts by projecting the starting segment by height and not by bearing width. So let me undo that and create my own bearing width by expand by bearing width command, and again start multi-bench design, now from the new segment. Now that everything looks okay here in this bench, let's deal with the other issue here, that the points are irrational. Well, if you're familiar with Surpac, it calls these crossing points and segments crossovers or spikes. Not only the DTM creation will be wrong and invalid, the construction of the ramp and benches is not possible and cannot be applicable in the real world. To resolve this issue, that is not specific to multi-bench design but to any functions of Surpac which use expanding and creating ramps, you should modify the lower bench by the cat tools. You see that one point looks excessive here, and it's very close in a confined angle in this wall, and when it's projected by the ramp widths, they will cross each other, as well as these 3 points coming after it. I'm going to break and delete the ramp for this lower bench, and just add it by these tools, and I prefer to uh, increase the ramp gradient and also decrease the ramp widths for single line pathing trucks for the lowest bench flow. Let's try again. I expand by bench height, down on contract. Yes, I have not set the wall angle, the batter angle. The problem still exists even though I changed my ramp definition to increase the ramp slope and ramp width. So we should modify these points, I think, by deleting only one of the points that's not important in the position of this critical string. Trying again, and yes, now it looks better and logical. So by considering that this command always starts by expanding by bench height, and we should consider the bearing width if we need it. The other point was to considering that this starting segment must be a unique segment, and by applying this menu, the newly created segments are not in a string number that are previously used in our rest of the design in the same layer. And the third point was that we may need modifying points to stop crossovers and spikes.